Recording. Hello and welcome to Tangerine. Have you ever, Tony, you ever thought about inventing a co-op stopwatch?
You mentioned it. I really think a co-op stopwatch would be really useful
It's
for our purposes for Tangerine.
it's so easy to find an online stopwatch, just a local one that can
Yeah,
do the time right. Why
yeah, yeah,
has
yeah.
nobody invented the ability to um,
Should,
have like a co-op stopwatch where you give a link to two people and then the other person can see when the other person's hit the stopwatch and you
yeah.
can both watch the stopwatch at the same time.
It. You know what would also be cool as well? It's not very useful for us, but if you know like the lap button of stopwatches, if you both could do that and like it would show like different colors the lap time, of like or like when like you stop the or not stop the watch, but like put in like a time to has to see. That'd be useful as well. Yeah, I guess we should explain like why that'd be useful for us. I feel like
Well, the way we used to do Tangerine is I would randomly start recording without telling Tony,
yeah,
so it would just start with a random. We would be in the middle of a conversation, and then I would say Tangerine, and we'd start talking about the game
yeah.
that's currently on the screen.
I almost always start with a random conversation,
It's
like
because me
without
and you have so
fail.
many random conversations before we
Yeah,
start recording, and I think it's funny to just interject into them into the actual video. I mean, we were talking about DDR5 RAM before we started
yeah.
talking, or we'll talk about Doctor Who or Star Trek or something for like an hour before we actually start.
Star Trek comes up a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Just like the
But yeah,
Ferengi, just
Tangerine.
comes up a
This is
lot,
like Cluedo.
just like the Andorians in Star Trek Enterprise. No, okay.
Commander Shran, Jo- Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, the legend himself.
Jeffrey Combs is
Um,
great.
Tangerine. So this Tangerine, we're doing a Mega Tangerine again. I have
Yep.
made a Mega Tangerine of multiplayer games, and there's even a subcategory in the multiplayer game of multiplayer board games.
Oh
So
God. Okay.
we're looking at Cluedo right now, which is the start of the
So
board
in the board game
games.
section now.
Yeah, we are. Well, unless
Okay.
you don't count Cluedo online as a board game. Um,
Well, I don't know. It looks like a board game.
this
It looks like Cluedo.
this is Cluedo, the classic mystery
Yeah,
game.
what I was actually gonna ask that. What's your opinion on like Clue versus Cluedo?
Tony, I have no fucking idea what the difference is.
Neither do I. I just thought it was always called Cluedo. Then I saw one is like selling it like a WH Smith as Clue. I'm like, what? Why is it just called
Uh,
Clue?
Clue versus Okay, so I got to be honest with you. Before playing this on
Right.
Steam, I'd never played Cluedo in my life ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think Cluedo is a very good game. I think it's a little bit limited, but it's a very good game in my opinion.
Oh, apparently it's the American branding is Clue. It's called Clue in North
What?
America. Yeah.
They didn't understand what a dough is,
So
so they had to remove it.
it was invented in the UK in 1949, and they called it Cluedo. And then they were like, "Well, we need to rebrand this for the Americans. Let's just call it Clue."
That's so dumb. I
I
don't like
believe.
that. That's just nah. I'm not about that.
But the Steam version is just called Clue/Cluedo, so they've just taken both names for the Steam version.
Please. Oh dear. Okay. Because
But
like in
it's
my head, like
gone.
surely like Cluedo would be easier to like trademark as a name like Clue, right?
I guess I'm not sure. But it seems like these Marmalade game studios, they do a lot of like these theme versions of board games. They do like the Cluedo game. They do the Game of Life. They do
Oh
like
god.
Jumanji card
They better be
board
a
game
British
thing.
company.
They do
Because that
Hasbro Battleship.
yeah.
Um, so we're
Marmalade
going to be
is
talking
such a
about a
British
couple of
thing.
these. But this is Cluedo. So the general idea of Cluedo is,
You've never played it before.
if you've never played it before, you take it in turns putting characters into locations on the board, and then based
Yeah.
on um, the outcomes
Well,
of that, it gives you clues on, who.
yeah, I was gonna say at the start of the game, you randomly select like a killer, a weapon, and where the body was found.
Nobody knows who the killer is, even you, right?
No, yeah, you
And
you can
you're
find out that you're the killer.
you're basically just trying to each turn you're trying to roll the dice and go to different rooms in order to try and get information you don't already have because
Yeah,
you have a set of cards that you know are like your cards sort of thing. Um, and you're trying, it's like a deduction game. You're trying to use the information you already have to figure out new information. It's a bit
yeah,
confusing to me because I've played it one time. You probably, to be honest, if you've played Cluedo before, you probably understand it better than I do. I was a bit confused.
right.
I was a bit confused playing it like online sort of thing
Well,
because
the strategy normally is that you're just trying to like obviously the cards that are actually like been used to like kill like the actual murder weapon location and person
yeah.
like they can't be in the deck or like and like you can't have the card and it's not in like the house, right?
So
So you're trying to find everything else but that.
so all of the cards that I had, the lead pipe, the billiards room, the library, and the study, I immediately knew that they couldn't be the killer's
Yeah,
cards,
so they cross
which is
them
why
out.
they're crossed out.
Yeah,
Right. But the general idea is you're trying to figure out, well, this person, you know, definitely has this card, which means if they have this card, it can't be the killer's card, so then you cross it off, sort of thing. It's
yeah.
just like a missing information game, sort of thing. Um, my thoughts on Cluedo on playing it first time. I think it's a bit complicated for me personally.
Right. I
Um,
think you just need to get used to it because like I think once you start playing you realize that the concepts aren't too bad.
it's probably I think I only played it like once, sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so maybe if I played it a couple more times, I'd be like, oh, I get it now. Um,
Yeah, because to me, it's not a very complicated board game, and I find that I really like the concept of Cluedo, but like I can't play it like more than like a couple of times, and like within within like a season of like
right.
people coming up and playing board games. So
But yeah, it's interesting because we used to get together and play board games together in person. But then COVID happened, and one of the big things that happened over the pandemic was because we used to review board games on the podcast with Daniel, and that was a big Daniel
yes,
directive.
yeah,
Um, but then we sort of stopped when Daniel got too busy because he was the one who owned all the board games. But I liked playing the board games. It was just like when you have to manually like take all the pieces out, you have to manually like roll. Well, rolling the dice is whatever, but like manually you have to like
setting it up.
write on a list and set it up. Like
Yeah,
especially for me,
yeah,
deck building games are a big pain because with
hmm
deck building games, every time you get to the end of your deck, you have to reshuffle your deck. So much of like physical card games is shuffling your deck, and it's so annoying that it's so much quicker and easier on these like digital versions that
I've been
I've been having a lot of fun just um I've been having so much fun just playing like the digital versions and just like
does
sometimes they'll have like tutorials and stuff to help you. I wanted to push the final acquisition button so often. It was like you know when you're like playing. Well, you probably don't, but when you're playing Among Us, I have like that instinct of just wanting to push the emergency button. Like it was that guy. Fuck it. I've got no
right.
information, but I've got a strong sus. I like to just run it down. I've got a real strong sus about this guy.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it is definitely a way to play it, I suppose.
but
Wait, did you suss early out, like early on, and then like get kicked out? What's going on?
no. I think what happened was Andy figured it out a couple of like turns before me and got it, sort of thing. I
Oh, right.
I think I may. I think I was on the way to figuring it out, and then it got to the end, and I was like, "Oh, I had no idea who it was." Okay, like I started to
Yeah,
understand some of it, but I think I went wrong at some point, and I
I
was just
think
like,
you double collected information. I think at one point
"Right."
because they
See,
used to be like efficient at like just trying to find as much as possible.
this isn't a game like Codenames, for example, which we play a lot online. Like the Codenames website's really good. Where Codenames, I think fundamentally anyone can play Codenames. It's an incredibly simple game. Whereas even
Yeah,
though Cluedo's not, a particularly complicated game, it is a step above that in terms of complexity.
I think
Um,
in terms of knowing what strategy actually works and what you need to actually be accomplishing, yeah, I think that's correct. I think once you know it though, it's like once you know it, you know it. It's like riding a bike, and like you know it, and you always know it.
I think this is like, if I was going to recommend this, I would recommend it to people who've played Cluedo before. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's probably better if you played it before rather than
I
a bunch of
s-
people who going in never playing it and trying to play through this. I don't know if it's the best way to
has
experience it. Although it
well, I
is a,
assume wait, didn't everyone else who you were playing with here also played it before? Was
I
it
think so, yeah.
okay?
Also, this game's verified on Steam Deck. You can play Cluedo on the Steam Deck.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I can actually, you know what? It's got a touchscreen and stuff, right? That'd be fine.
But it's a decent game for what it is. So if you're looking to play
Wait, how
Cluedo
much
on,
was it?
so I got this as part as a bundle from Fanatical. Fanatical was
Oh,
basically
okay.
doing like a board game bundle, so I don't know exactly how much I paid for it.
Right.
Um, but probably not that much to be honest with you. It says historical low on Steam was £2.99, so
Nice. Okay.
not that expensive really.
No, no.
Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have Game of Life 2, another game I had never played until I played the digital version of it.
That's also crazy to me. I
Is
mean,
it?
I've not
I
played
felt
much
like
Game of
I
Life, but
I feel like the Game of Life is a very American game, if I'm not mistaken. Because I'd never
I don't
heard
know.
of Game
Like,
of
I played
Life for a
it with
long
my
time.
cousins, so I don't
Right.
know. But it's definitely Americanized in like terms of the concept. Like, yeah,
Look,
100%.
the Game of Life was the US first popular parlor game, so I think it's a US game.
Right, right. But I can't tell you like how many people in the UK have and haven't played it though. Whereas like I feel like a lot of people have played Cluedo in the
I
UK.
don't know anyone who's played the Game of Life really. I don't think. I mean, I haven't
Okay.
really asked. That too many people
It's not
haven't played it before.
something you ask at a party, let's be honest.
But how? Okay, raise a hand. How many people here have played Game of Life? Well, I've played. I haven't just played Game of Life, Tony. I've played the Game of Life 2. Because apparently
I
there's.
don't know, why is it two?
Because there's a first Game of Life on Steam, and this is the sequel. I have
Okay.
no idea what's changed for the sequel. I assume it's just like better graphics or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe
Uh,
a different balance. I don't know.
the general I so the Game of Life 2 is a lot simpler than Cluedo, I would say. Um, I really
Yeah.
liked it. I think you had some mixed feelings on it. For someone who's never
Yeah.
played the board game, just playing it the digital version through Steam was really fun. I like the idea of um, you gain points along the way as if you're living through your life, and then the
Yeah.
way you get points at the end is you get awarded money for how much money you made along the way. But there's also the ability to improve yourself through education or get
Yeah.
life experiences or possessions. And having the
I
most of those possessions gives you a bonus at the end, which I think is a really interesting balancing act between making sure you have enough cash to keep going, because you also have to pay taxes when you land on taxes squares, and then also you want to spend enough money um, in order to try and get those bonuses for yourself, like victory points almost.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say like my okay, the concept is really good. Like I like the decision making. I just found this is like going back like this is like I feel like I played it like 10 years ago, like in person
Right.
with my cousins. I just remember like as we got closer to the end of like past the midway point, they like someone could be ahead like making a decision. And I get like there's like a sense of randomness, and then
Yeah.
like the random rolls, they just got like super lucky, and it's like, oh, okay. I feel like that's like it shouldn't be
Yeah.
that
So
powerful to be on random rolls.
yeah. So you can. There is the big decision making in which part. So change it. You can change paths at certain points, which then you either go
Yeah,
for like
very
just get
important.
started straight away to get more money, or you can go and get an education to get a better paying job, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, the spinning thing on the online version is like it was really hard to use. Like it was really hard to actually get it to spin right. They need to look at the spinning mechanics of the spinner.
then, yeah. Can you not
Um,
just like smash a button to broad at the power and you let go? Wouldn't that be a better
but
way to do it?
we all
Maybe.
tried spinning it, and we like it took us a while to like actually figure out how you're supposed to spin it correctly because it just
Yeah,
you had to spin it in like a very specific way for it to register. Um, yeah.
it did look awkward. Yeah, I mean, it still looks awkward.
So if you land, so when you take a job that gives you a number on the spinner, and if you land on your spinner number, that gives you a bonus amount of money when you land on it. And what you land on the spinner is how many moves you take on the board. So
Yeah, it's
ideally,
basically the
you want
dice.
ideally you want a board on the you want a space on the spinner with the highest number, so you move more, sort of thing.
Yes.
And then if you land on somebody else's spot, it gives a bonus to them, which you don't want to do because you're playing against them. But I can see what you're saying. Like I've played this a couple of times, maybe like 3 or 4 times, with different people. I found that getting to the board early is really, really broken, and that's just
Yeah.
purely based on rolling higher numbers on the spinner.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get to the end, when you're waiting for everybody else, basically, when you get to the end, you're waiting for everybody else to finish their game of life. But when you get to the end, you get this big bonus of you can basically keep spinning for more money,
Mm-hmm.
and or you can keep spinning for more assets.
Yeah.
And basically, you can just keep stocking this up until more people get to the end, and when the final person gets to the end, then it ends, sort of thing. So if you do get lucky and you get to the end first, it's a big, big bonus for you to either
Yeah, they
just
should probably.
keep acquiring wealth or
Yeah,
getting, you know, um,
there should probably be a
wealth
catch-up
or
mechanic to
education
counter that.
or life. Because the thing is, when you're spinning the wheel, um, I think it's set up so I think there's a chance you can hit nothing, but you're never hitting tax. So there's no negative effects to spinning the wheel when you're at the end. So you're never like losing anything. Whereas on the board, you can obviously land on tax and lose money, sort of thing, which is
Yeah, I
pretty
think I
interesting.
think that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I really like the concept. Like I think it's really funny. Like it kind of just and then like you can get just taking like everyday stuff and go, yeah, this is kind of I have to
I
make
think
decisions
like
like in real life is really appealing.
yeah, I think as well like they did a really good job with this game. Like visually, it looks really cool,
Yep.
and especially like when they have cards like upgrade your PC, and I'm like, well, I've got to upgrade my PC. I'm a video game
That's
designer.
very modernized.
Or
That
you're
was not in
like,
the version
or
I
you'll
played.
have like you'll be in a car as you drive around, and then you can go and have a family, and then it will add like a little baby to your car, or you'll get married and add like a little
That's cool.
character to your car, like sort of thing. I'm like, oh, this
So
is
just like
really
a visual
cool.
elements.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the visual elements like really
that's
make a
really good.
big impact on the actual fun of the game, sort of thing. I
I
can't
will
believe
say
I'm
as
paying
well.
fucking taxes. Well, I took the lower salary, so I paid less taxes.
Yeah,
Uh,
good job. Well, I was gonna say, this digital board is way better than like the really old, like probably like 12, 15-year-old board game at this point.
yeah.
Obviously, at the time, it was like 5 years old or something. There's like very dated graphics and stuff on
No,
the
I've
physical version I
the game.
played.
I haven't played the Game of Life 1. I think it's fairly similar, but I recommend the
Okay.
Game of Life 2 to anyone just to pick up on Steam and play it with some friends. It is
Yeah.
genuinely like really fun. I think the way have done it is that they've. I think it's the same with some of these like Marmalade Game Studio games. Is the base games like pretty cheap or get sold in bundles quite often, and then they have like lots of different board DLCs. So they have like, oh, this is the Fairy Tale Kingdom board, or this is the Frozen Lands world board, or this is the Fairy Tale board, and that's fine. Like I don't mind that because that's optional content, right? That you don't have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
interact with. But I do think it is like a shame and a missed opportunity when those boards are exactly the same as the base board. They're just different
Yeah,
cosmetically. I'm like,
yeah.
I do think genuinely it would be worth buying like
I
a season pass of a couple of these DLC boards if they offered a different gameplay experience, like a
yeah,
differently structured board.
yeah, like if like a fairy tale version was like way more like yeah, or like maybe like a fairy tale one is like more like a medieval like instead of like more modern,
Yeah,
right? That'd be really interesting. That'd be really
they're
cool.
just purely cosmetic changes sort of thing. So if you're looking at this game, you're looking at all the DLC. I'd recommend just ignore the DLC. It doesn't change anything about the base game itself. It's all cosmetic stuff. So yeah, and I would recommend the
It
Game of
looks
Life 2. It is really good. Oh, I
yeah, it
like.
looks
Oh,
solid.
I also like. So when you get a family, Or when you grow your family, you can either choose to have a baby, or you can get like a dog or a cat instead. Like, there's different ways that you can do it.
Well, you can choose, or you just randomly get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's with the times as well. You can get married to a man, a woman, or someone
Yeah,
who's like non-binary kind of
I
thing.
I actually think that's been a thing since like when I played. So
Right. Okay.
so that I think I might be really ahead.
Right. Let's move on to the next game, which is Mysterium, a game I feel like you do not understand at all. Um,
No. Well, I
so,
think I understand how you play now, but I don't understand like the appeal. I guess I should say that.
so I think the first time I played this was um, when a friend brought it round for a board games night. My friend Wrestling Matt, he bought the physical board game and he came round and we played it. And we're like, man, this was really fun, but this took a really long time to set up and play. And then we
Yeah,
found it
it
was on
did.
Steam, and we've been playing it
Yeah.
like non-stop ever since we found um, the like physical board game, the digital version of it, um, which is really really cool to see. It's got that Asmodee AI, as we like to joke, because Asmodee does the online services, which is like a different company that does a lot of the online services for a lot of these games, like
Right.
Carcassonne and think Ticket to Ride is another game I've played on the online version of. I played the physical version and the online version. I think Asmodee does the IR with that. I'll talk about the base game. I will talk about the experience and what it was like, and then I'll have to give a caveat and say like the negative stuff because there's been some problems with Mysterium recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I've not heard of this.
the idea of Mysterium, I think, is really cool. Basically, it's a co-op board game where you have one person who's a ghost who is trying to tell the alive people how they were murdered and who they were murdered by and where. Um,
It's
but
sort of a
the
Cluedo thing.
but the only way they can tell them is by sending them vision cards.
Yeah. Okay.
And each person has their own individual character, murder weapon, and location. Or there's a DLC that changes location with something else. It's not location in the base game. It's no, it is location, but it's murder weapon gets
Time?
changed with motive in in like the expansion thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's called like Hidden Signs or Secrets and Lies DLC, which I think the DLC for this game is genuinely worth it as a caveat. So someone here has received a raven. They could be. So you would look at this picture and you go, well, raven. It could be a quill. Could it be someone who writes? Could it be they're signifying that it's a black and white card? Someone who has like black and white card. Maybe it's the barber. He has black and white hair. So it's a really like interpretive um, game where you have to try and figure out the intentions of the ghost rather than because all of the cards the ghosts get given are intentionally abstract in the way they look. There's no card that's just
Ah,
a straight up picture of one of the characters.
yeah. Avant-garde, if you would.
Yeah, which I really liked.
Yeah, it adds a lot.
But I think this game is insanely fun. I think it is really like if you're a fan of like games like it's almost like code names in a way where if you know code names where you have to give one word clues to tell your team to select certain words, it's like that, but instead of giving word clues, you're giving them a vague picture to try and draw them towards certain characters and weapons and stuff like that, which I like. There is a photo version of Cluedo which I think I've played like one or two times. That's pretty interesting. There's also a Harry Potter version of Cluedo that does not play like normal Cluedo at all and is really confusing. It's like a co-op version of like this weird like
Okay.
everyone's on a team version of Cluedo. Not Cluedo, sorry, a code name. Sorry. Which I was like, oh, this is really confusing. Anyway, that's a side. Um, so the general idea is you would. So I got water. I also got a flag. I think I saw the flag here, and I was like, "Oh, flag!" There's a guy with a Scottish flag in his picture, which is what I initially clicked, but that wasn't what the clue was going with. As you can see here are some of the locations. So you can see like there'll be like a kitchen or an attic or like a bathroom or something, and there'll be sometimes someone will give a clue like water, and you'll go, oh, water. There's a bathtub in this one, but then there could
Yeah.
be one where there's a picture of there could be a fish tank in the background. Another one, it might be confusing. It's like I think it's a skilled player that works as the
Well, I
ghost
think
because you have to think about every single individual card and how that
yeah.
person could interpret it.
I think as well as like people like it's kind of like it's good with friends because that you kind of get to know like how did
Mm.
they think everyone else will see it and like how do other people actually like see it and like obviously
Well, I
the
mean, many
person who's
like
dead doesn't speak.
when you start playing with like the same people over and over again, you start to get like almost metas where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this card equals this or stuff like that, which you may or may not want to happen, but it may eventually happen at some point. Or like we have a running joke where there was a clue of water, and then one of our friends clicked on the crypt, and then we were very confused. Like, there's no water in the crypt. Why did you click on the crypt? And he was like, well, I don't know. There could have been some water in it. And then we were like, okay. So then every time somebody got a clue for water, we were like, well, water equals crypt. Water equals crypt. Um,
That's
it
great.
was just like a running meme with us. But yeah, this is genuinely really really fun, and it's a real shame because we've been trying to play it for the past couple of weeks, even just going back and logging on, and we love. It's a really really casual game when you're just on Discord with a couple of friends to go, let's load up some Mysterium or code names or
Yeah.
something, and we just put it on and we just talk while we like try and figure out these clues. Um, Currently, the multiplayer servers for Mysterium are just completely down.
Oh,
Um,
but you can't even play it.
yeah,
It's great. And there's no peer to peer version.
like it's been like it had like the overall reviews are like very positive, and then the recent reviews are like very negative. Um,
Okay.
so it seems like I don't know if it's I don't know if it's been fixed recently. We'll have to see. But lots of people have been like reviewing it, saying multiplayer in the game is no longer works. The servers are down. There's no peer to peer options. It was a fantastic game, sort of thing. Like it was so fun to play this online with friends. Um, it may even be the
Oh,
case now that they've taken down the online servers.
that's insane. I was gonna one going back to that
Somebody,
positive, but just for
somebody,
a second, I
somebody.
really like the artwork they've got
The
going.
artwork's right. Somebody said 10 hours ago servers are back online. Guys,
Okay.
should I load up Mysterium live on the podcast and check? Not live on Tangerine. Will this fuck up my recording? There's
Probably. I don't
only
know.
Danny.
I wouldn't risk
There's
it.
only one way to find out. I mean,
Reboot?
I reboot. What?
You don't know the reference. It's fine. It's it's an early 3D animation show on VHS.
3D animation. Is that an anime
It's called
reference?
Reboot.
I'm just gonna leave this play. Guys. I'm launching the Asmodee AI Mysterium live as we speak right now. Um, if I want to be 100% on the money, if the servers are back up, I can 100% recommend this again. Online, great.
It does
It
concern
seems
me
like
that
the online is back now.
okay. It does concern me that if the online or their servers disappear, you can't play it this anymore. It really concerns
Yeah,
me. Maybe someone should
guys.
try and
Seems like they're back, but
reverse engineer it.
the point still stands that for a really long time the servers were down and there was no word really as to what was happening.
How
Um,
how long were they down for? Like when did you notice they were down? And I assume they were back up today.
well, from what I've read, um, so since like July
Really?
is the
Oh my
first like
god.
post on the Steam forums about it. Everyone was saying it's down, it's down, it's down, sort of thing.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
Yeah, let's see. So basically, it seems like people got in touch with support and they forwarded it to Asmodee Digital Support. Seems like they've looked at it now. It seems to be back up now. So I think like literally in the past couple of days it's been fixed. But it doesn't like I don't think that diminishes like the bad reviews it got. Like the fact that the servers can just go down for it's fucking September. They went down for like 2 months with no word
Yeah, that's insane.
from the
That's
developer,
terrible.
which is like a shame because the game itself is actually really really fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
It's a
tell
shame
my
there's no peer-to-peer backup if that happens.
I'm gonna have to tell my friends. I'm just sending a message.
They're gonna be hyped for it.
Live on Tangerine, guys. Mysterium's back. I brought it back from the dead like a spooky ghost. Ooh.
I like this picture of Dracula dancing.
Yes, he's sipping on his Kool-Aid. Ooh.
Is that what he's doing?
Yes, he's having a stretch as well. He's
There's
very
some
tired.
dogs.
You'd
Okay, so
love
there's
to
some
see
dogs
it.
are cool.
Like they give you the ability to zoom in on images so you can see small details and stuff. The game itself,
That's really cool.
now that online is working, I can fully recommend Mysterium. It is fun as hell. When we played the Mysterium board game, everyone went back and like, oh, I found it on Steam. Let's play this. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. I already own Mysterium. I got it from like a humble bundle from years ago. I didn't even know I owned it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it is quite cheap. I think it's about £5 off sale, and then it goes on to sale like a couple of quid. So
That's very
recommend.
good.
The next one up, Tony, the final board game before we move on to the rest of we get out of the board game section and we move on to the normal multiplayer game section. I can only recommend as far as the game is fun. But we're going to get into why I find this game hard to recommend based on who makes it. And that is Uno. Uno is insanely fun. I love Uno, and I love the online version of Uno. It is.
So is that Al Hawking, the famous Al Hawking? John?
Al Hawking himself, yeah. Uno is really, really cool.
Doesn't everyone know Uno? Like I feel like Uno is
a very universal game. Yeah, I mean most people have played Uno at this point,
or at least heard of it if they're like older, maybe.
And there's even like you can play just the base Uno. You can choose your own rules, sort of thing. So you can I challenged someone there and like a +4, and they had to pick up because I was wrong. So that's a base Uno rule where if somebody plays a +2, more than a +4. So if you can challenge a +4, and they could have played a different card instead, and you challenge them and you're correct, they have to pick up and you don't. But if you challenge them and you're wrong, you have to pick up more cards than you would have had to. Sort of thing. So that's like an interesting mechanic. There's DLC for this. Like I've played the Just Dance DLC for this, which it's not just cosmetic, that they generally change the way you play. The Assassin's Creed one's really interesting, where you're essentially trying to move a piece around a board by playing certain numbers and colors.
Right. Or there's Rabbids though.
There's Rabbids. Fuck Rabbids is just absolute chaos. Rabbids is all about just let's play this card that just completely flips the game on its head. The Far Cry 6 one's kind of interesting, where you essentially gain points and then you can use a radio to call in. Didn't say Uno, motherfucker. If someone doesn't say Uno, you got to press that button and say you didn't say Uno. Now you have to draw more cards.
People get so pissed at that, by the way.
The Far Cry, you basically call in favors from whoever the fuck is in Esposito from Breaking Bad. What's his name? Gus Fring. You call in favors from him to basically you can like block communications to stop other people calling in things, or you can make other people draw cards or stuff like that. That's pretty interesting. That's cool. Uno is really fucking fun, Tony. And I'm so fucking pissed off because it's owned and ran by Ubisoft.
You can tell because they've got Rabbids and Assassin's Creed and Far Cry stuff in it. And
you know why I'm fucking pissed off at Ubisoft? Because they sell all this. they sell all. They run the online servers for you. They run the online servers for um, Uno, and they sell DLC, which some of my friends purchase, and you can play with your friends without having to own the DLC. That's cool. But I've refused to buy any DLC for Uno other than I think I bought the Just Dance one because it was 60p before the Ubisoft news came out. Because of the sheer fact that I know at some point Ubisoft is going to decide, you know what, we can't be bothered to host the Uno servers anymore, or
Hmm.
oh, that DLC system on Uplay's become deprecated. We're just not going to let you use it anymore. Like fucking hell, that shit they pulled with all of the multiplayer servers and DLC for their older games was just so ridiculous. Um,
It's almost I don't know, it's almost unforgivable because like it's sort of like opening Pandora's box. Like once you've done it, it's like, oh well, that's something that they always can do now.
It's like the Uno
It's
game
just really
itself is like
shit.
it's so straightforward and fun experience, but it's like you
Hmm.
have to launch Uplay and make sure Uplay is
Hmm.
not down, or Ubisoft Connect as it's called now. And
So I've not tracked this properly, but like I know like Anno 2070 like servers were taken down.
yeah,
Like the developers were trying to like get like
yeah,
some sort of
I
other server back up.
they've done it. They've done it.
Okay, they've done it.
I've heard recently they've done basically. They said they were completely blindsided, but Ubisoft didn't
Yeah,
even tell the developers Anno,
no,
and they were
they're
like,
really bad
"Oh,
communicating with the
we
developers.
actually want to support our game. We're just going to patch it so you can keep playing on the old Anno servers." It's the new Anno, but it's the old Anno, right? Because it's Anno
Yeah.
2000 rather than Anno 1700 or whatever it is.
Yes, it's only 2070. It's like 10 years old at this point.
Right.
Before that, like before okay, the current one is 1800. Before that was
Right.
2250. So like it's pretty old now.
Yeah. But man, it's such a shame because
Don't play 2250. Shit.
I was looking on Steam because as we end this board game section, I was saying like we've been playing tons of board games together and we wanted to play more. And one of the ones we were eyeing up was Monopoly Plus, which is
Oh,
the online Steam version of Monopoly. It was like, well,
yeah.
it'd be pretty like lots of streamers play Monopoly. It looks like a really fun game to play. Um, One problem: Monopoly Plus is owned by Ubisoft. Ubisoft make
Oh,
and develop and host the online servers for Monopoly Plus, and it has mixed reviews because constantly the online is breaking, the game keeps crashing, um, and it doesn't work properly. But if you want to play Monopoly online, your choices are to give money to Ubisoft to give you an unstable half-broken game, which in
yeah.
like 10 years they're going to shut down because they can't be fucked to run the servers for. It's like such a bad situation that these games are like jailed. Like go to jail meme from Monopoly. It's like all of these great board games are
Go
stuck in
directly to jail.
they're stuck in Ubisoft jail right now.
Yeah. Well, they basically made it like abandonware in a way because like if it's not support, like you can't like access the service to do anything. Like you and there's no peer to peer backup. Like what the
Hmm.
fuck are you supposed to do?
I don't know, man.
I get,
It just makes me upset that there's
I just
some genuinely really fun gaming experience to have online with friends. Like we've
yeah.
played so much Uno at this point that we're constantly playing it, and it is really really fun. And it
I
is
just wish
upsetting that I can't keep enjoying it, knowing what I
yeah.
know. I will
I
not.
genuinely wish that like if you were going if you've decided like for the online service for game, I just wish there was like archiving rules that said that you had to like make the code public.
So basically,
Or
is Uno the game itself fun? Yes, insanely fun. Really, really good way to play online Uno with friends. Like we've played it on Tabletop Simulator, but it is so much more longer and complicated than playing the official Uno app game. But it's more complicated than you have to like physically decide the rules yourself, and everyone starts arguing about the rules, and
yeah.
it's so much
Well, we
simpler.
play
This
with
is so much
different
simpler.
rules.
Well, there's my friend Wave, who I play Uno with sometimes, and he has some of the most batshit Uno rules I've ever seen in my entire life. That I'm just like, not a single other person on this planet plays Uno in this way. There is no way.
I didn't know you had like special rules. Okay.
Yes, yes. Which is why we have to get him to play this Uno, so he doesn't like start
Yeah.
adding his own rules and cheating. But anyway,
Interesting. Okay.
basically to summarize before we end this board game section,
Yeah.
is Uno the board? Is the digital version of Uno on Steam fun? Yeah, it's insanely fun. Should you get it? No, because Ubisoft will deprecate the servers at some point, and you will lose access to a game that you bought and paid money for, and DLC you bought and paid money for, and they'll suddenly one day decide that you no longer have access to that. You're renting this game from Ubisoft, and until
Yeah.
they display change at the company at a wide level over
Or
several
they
years,
allow open source like dedicated service similar to how Mojang does it.
I cannot wholeheartedly recommend this game to anyone, really, I don't think. Even though the actual game itself is really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's board
Does
games.
suck.
Let's move
There's
on to multiplayer games. Oh, Golf Gang! I've talked about Golf Gang before because I've done a demo festival on it. So you'll be seeing a lot of games that on Tangerines where I've played the demo for them. I've really enjoyed them, and I've gone, oh, I'm going to buy that because it's on a cheap sale or it's not doesn't cost too much. And I'm like, well, I played the demo for it and I really enjoyed it. Let's support the developer, sort of thing. And yeah, Golf Gang is the golf game of the year so far, Tony. I mean, I
Oh,
don't think there's been that many golf.
I
I don't
didn't
think.
realize there was a category. I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
wasn't paying attention.
golf game of the year. Make sure to look out for it in the Inbetween Podcast Awards.
Oh, I think you're gonna say at the PC Gaming Awards. It'll be there.
Look out for. Isn't it insane that Jeff Keighley hosts like 3 different shows now?
Yeah.
He has
No.
Summer Games Fest.
Yep.
He hosts Gamescom, and he also hosts the Game Awards. Like
He's just that guy.
just inject Jeff Keighley straight into my veins at this point. Really, I mean that's what everybody wants.
I guess what happened is like he was like people really liked him, or like advertisers were like, well, we like him as well.
I think like people are okay with Jeff. I think people get annoyed with how much advertising spots he puts into his conferences, but that's how those things get made. Like I think that's a reality of how those things work. When you
I'm thinking more like the advertisers like him more than the people.
Yeah, I mean, like it doesn't make sense that I'm watching like Gamescom, and in the middle of it, you know, I get it was like E3 or Gamescom or something. It was like you're like, oh, I'm here to watch games trailers, and there's an advertisement for The Rock's new energy drink. The Rock comes onto the screen and he's advertising a new energy drink, and I'm like, what the fuck has this got to do with video games? Why is The Rock here?
Well, the thing is, people play video games. They drink a lot of energy drinks.
Wow, they need a lot of energy for gaming.
I think it is a crazy statistic. Like people who play games like do like drink like compared to like any other like portion of the population drink a lot of energy drinks. So it probably isn't completely misguided, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense that you expect to see like games or peripherals or like PC components or game console stuff, right?
Golf Gang's really fun. I think it fills this cool niche that you don't see in a lot of golf games, where a lot of golf games are simply niche. Just straight up, relaxing, slow, methodical accuracy simulators. You're trying to get the best angle with the least amount of shots, and that's pretty fun for some people. It's very relaxing. It's like loading up golf for your friends or Golf It or anything like that. That's pretty cool because you get the ability to just sit back and relax and talk to friends, right? Where you just hit some balls around. Golf Gang is really interesting to me because I'm the big fan of arcade games, and it's almost like an arcade golf game where it has this idea of the main game mode is called Golf Gang, where you get points for the least amount of shots. So being accurate is still important in Golf Gang mode, but there's also points for being the first to the hole. So you're trying to be accurate, but at the same time, you're trying to be really fast. And it ends up being like this really chaotic, fast and fun game of golf. Definitely not as relaxing. And I know other people, some of my friends prefer the more relaxing, slower style of golf, but a couple of my other friends prefer this game mode to the slower one. So it really depends on the sort of person you are, I would say. It does have...
This is really fun.
There is just a dedicated race mode where you're like, I'm going to try and get to the hole as quickly as possible, screw accuracy. And then there's also the other side, there's a classic golf mode where it's just there's no points for position. It's all about just taking the least amount of shots. So if you see this and you're like, this looks kind of fun, the maps and the mechanics look cool, but I'm more of like a casual slow golf player, you can just play the slow casual golf mode, and we have done that, and it is pretty fun. Um,
Okay, that's
One of the
cool.
things that makes it more arcadey is usually when you're playing a golf game, um, you have to take a shot and you can't move the ball again until you have stopped moving. In Golf Gang, the way it works, you have an energy bar that gets depleted based on how much power you put into your shot. And as soon as that bar recharges, you can hit the ball again, no matter if it's stopped or not. So it's like this constant flow of moving sort of thing. And
Hmm.
there's also like modifiers and stuff you can put on. Like we put a modifier on that made it so um, you had the bar recharge twice as fast, and that was really fun because it was recharging so quickly. We were just constantly whacking the ball, sort of thing. Um, there's a lot of replayability to this. So the replayability is there is custom maps that are supported through Workshop. Um, I've played quite a few of the Workshop maps. They're pretty decent. There's even like a Star Trek map, Tony. I think you would like.
It's a Star
There's
Star
even a
Trek
map. There's
Golf.
a map called Bog, which I think a friend of mine, Luke, liked because he's obsessed with bogs right now. For
Oh,
some
he's a
reason,
bug man.
he's a bog main. Um, but obviously, because I think the tool, there's not like a dedicated level editor tool like there is in uh, Golf It or Golf Your Friends, which I think is a detriment slightly because it allows
Yeah,
like average Joe map makers like me. Like I personally have made a map in Golf Your
your
Friends
average
because
Joe.
I'm an average Joe because I'm somebody who doesn't have programming experience, but I made a
Yeah,
map
yeah,
through the level editor,
yeah.
right? Because it was like a simple experience. The way it works in Golf Gang is that basically you just upload a Unity file, sort of thing. So you can
Oh, you have
basically
to like go for Unity.
yeah, so you make your own map through like a Unity file sort of thing. So it's
Right.
a more powerful tool. You can do more with it, but it's not as
Yeah.
simple as
No.
the a level editor, which I think is reflected in the workshop because there is a few custom maps, but I think there's only about like 30 on the workshop right now. So there obviously it only came out quite recently. Um, I think it came out like a couple of months ago. Let's have a look. It came out in May, so it came out like halfway through the year. So it hasn't been out too long. Um, and then, so main replayability is playing the maps again, playing with modifiers. I'll go into modifiers more in a second. And also, there's cosmetics you unlock. So basically, every time you play a hole, you get points, which are like coins, and then you spend them on cosmetics. And you also buy new maps to unlock, and then you buy um, uh, like modifiers as well to change the way you play, which is cool. Which is cool that you play the game and you unlock things, and there's no like external transaction going on. It's just a game that you buy, and then you don't have to buy anything else externally, sort of thing. It's a crazy concept these days. Um,
Yeah, it's appreciated though. Like it's
it's a
definitely.
crazy concept, and it was appreciated in Fall Guys until they ruined that for me by going free to
Hmm.
play and making all of the customization completely pay to customize, which was
With no
sad.
way to actually really get for free. Yeah, that's
Um, yeah, they're still updating this. They just added a new science station map recently, and it went on a free to play weekend, which was cool to see. So definitely trying to get more players, sort of thing.
yeah,
Really,
yeah.
I've been playing it with a couple of friends. I think I got about four friends. Lower pickup. I think at this point, everyone I know, including you, Tony, owns golf with your friends because of my constant harassment saying let's play some golf, and then everyone feels like they have to get golf
It's
with your
also
friends.
super cheap on
Yeah,
sale, so
I've only got four people on the golf gang train, but I think in time I will
I,
get everyone to get the golf gang.
yeah, I would.
Uh,
I'm more willing to play something like this than like some of the
I
other
mean
golf
this
games
this
I've
this
seen.
isn't like very expensive either. I mean it's £7. It's £7.99 off
Yeah,
sale, and then
that's good.
it's gone on sale for like £5.50. So it's really not a. Oh, I like how there's a countdown at the start, and if you go too soon, it like locks you out of hitting the ball. So you're trying to get like the perfect start and hitting the ball, which is really cool.
You gotta rev your engine.
Okay, Tony. So there is a modifier called Vroom Vroom. And I was like,
Okay.
what the fuck is Vroom Vroom mode? I said, wait, do I have footage of Vroom Vroom mode? I have a bunch of Golf Gang footage and I'm not sure. Oh, is this Vroom Vroom? Is this the Vroom
It's
Vroom
got a
mode?
car.
It's just, the
Vroom,
description of
vroom.
Vroom mode is Vroom Vroom. I'll turn the volume up here so you can hear it.
Okay.
I love that there's no descriptions. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Let's put it on. And then you get to experience the beauty of Vroom Vroom mode.
Yeah.
Ready, set, go.
When you're holding down the power button, it starts like wheel scratching. It's like,
Oh my god.
so basically, to make the ball go forward, you hold down left which accelerates. And
So
then
it
you're
uses
just
your
trying.
bar.
Yeah, then you're just trying to get into the hole at that point.
It's insane. Oh, if it's had drifting as well. Oh,
Yeah,
my
there is
God.
like a sort of drifting mechanic where
Okay.
Set,
you can hear the engines revving. And then you like, you can, when you're in the air and you're like, shit, I've gone too fast, you want to like accelerate in the other direction, like mid-air, to like change the angle you're going, sort of thing. It's
Right,
really
right.
interesting. There's also a mode called Cockpit mode, which basically puts your golf view into first person. So I'm like, I'm a cockpit vroom vroom mode enjoyer. Where I'm
Yeah.
just racing around in first person. I wanted to show this map as well specifically because the glider mechanic in this map and the other maps using is really cool. So you go into these gliders, then you physically pick up your mouse, and then you like have to angle your mouse around to move the ball in the direction you want to go into until it ends, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really cool way to do it.
more active.
Yes, more active, more this arcadey style. That's really really
Yeah.
cool. Which I really like because there's tons of stuff where I'm like, I don't think I ever would have thought of doing that, but it makes so much sense in this game specifically, which I think is really really cool. But yeah, Golf Gang, really cool modifiers. Oh wait, do I have Workshop? This is another map I think. Oh, we were playing with. These are some more modifiers. These are explosive collisions. So every time you collide with someone, you explode. And then we also have every time you hit your ball, you become bigger. Every shot makes your size of your ball increase.
Does that hinder? Oh my god.
So then you're getting these bigger balls, and then you're constantly hitting each other with explosive things. Yeah, but
You're
you get to a point
huge.
where you're like, shit, how do I get across this bridge? If I take another shot, I'm going to be bigger than the bridge.
Okay,
I
so
love...
you get a reset if you die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, I also got some more footage because I've been playing tons of this because I love Golf Gang.
Yeah,
This is
great.
a custom map. So this is something that's much more powerful than you could never do this in golf for your friends, or I don't think you could do this in golf either. Someone's just ported an entire Star Fox map into the editor and put it on the workshop, and then added this gliding section. And I'm like, this is really fucking cool.
Good old Star Fox.
This is stuff where I'm like, it's good that the ability to upload like a Unity version exists. Oh, we got the DK.
Oh my God.
The Donkey Kong. It's called like Super Smash Bros. Essentially, they've taken Super Smash Bros. Levels and then made them into golf maps.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this fucking cockpit mode? Vroom vroom. No, it's not. It's just cockpit mode. I think it's not vroom vroom.
First person golf. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I would never know is asking to have vroom vroom mode.
I think it would like what I would like is the combination of a combination of a really powerful custom map editor like this, where you can just put a Unity project into it and people can make really cool stuff like this, but then also make like a simple level editor that people can also use just to make their own simple maps. Because I would love to make a Golf Gang map and be one of the few people to add another map to the workshop, because I think there needs to be more custom maps, and I would love to make one, but I don't have the programming experiences to go out of my way and make one of these like Unity projects sort of thing. Can you tell which video game this is, Tony, with the blocks and the pipe?
Splatoon.
Splatoon. He's got it in one. How many of these are there? I didn't know. I think this may have been Metroid or F-Zero or something. Maybe it's F-Zero. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't recognize anything. I don't recognize anything yet.
This may have been F-Zero. I don't know. A couple of the maps we weren't 100% sure which game they were like supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
let's
think they're
move on
all
to the
about
next.
Nintendo
But Golf
properties.
Gang, really cool, pretty cheap. Recommend it if you like golf games. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Even if you're like, oh, golf games are too slow. This is a much faster version, and it can be played slower if you're into that sort of thing. So check it out. Next up, we have the Anacrusis. This is an interesting one because, especially for me, because this is a Left 4 Dead style 4-player co-op game, and it's made by a company called Stray Bombay. And the reason that's interesting is because Stray Bombay is the company started by a former Valve writer, Chet Falasek.
Okay.
So that's kind of the history here. Now, I feel like if I say, hey, it's a Left 4 Dead style game with former Valve employees, they're going to be like thinking immediately about Back for Blood and what happened with that game. And I would say the Anacrusis is much more like Left 4 Dead than Back for Blood is.
Okay.
Back for Blood is a almost like a co-op strategy game in a lot of ways. Like it's a much more slow paced, like more serious, harder game sort of thing. Whereas Anacrusis is very much set up more like Deep Rock Galactic or Left 4 Dead, where it's like very casual, just shooting lots of hordes very quickly. So you
Okay.
basically, it's set in like this 60s, 70s style, um, where you're on a spaceship and the people on the spaceship have been taken over by these alien hosts, and then you're blasting them with like laser guns.
Yeah, it's very cool aesthetic. It's very different.
Yeah. So this game right now, so I played this on a free weekend. I didn't purchase this game because I was curious to try it out. This game is in early access at the moment, and one thing I will say immediately is it is definitely in very early access. This game,
Right.
I think this game needs a lot of work, but the core gameplay and mechanics there are really fun. But they didn't,
The premise is solid.
yeah, but they didn't
Okay.
they didn't go the Turtle Rock the Turtle Rock route where they got like a big publisher, they got a bunch of money, and then they just pumped all of the art direction and everything and made it super polished. But then when it came out, the core gameplay wasn't that great, sort of thing. I think
Yeah.
the Anacrusis is the opposite, where the core ideas, the art style, and stuff like that is there. It looks cool right now, but like there's lots of bugs, and it's in like a very early state, sort of thing.
It's not
Like,
polished.
no, it's not
It's in
polished.
rough state.
It's not polished at all, I would say, and
Oh.
it's very short. There's only like
Oh,
a couple
okay.
of maps. There's
Oh, that's
really,
unfortunate.
yeah, there's not that much
But
to
I
play. But
guess early access, well, yeah, early,
but
yeah.
you
Wait for
see
more
like the
maps.
differences in design, which I think is really cool. Is that Back for Blood? One of the big things was like the ability to play Left 4 Dead with mods. It's huge still to this day. There are so many Left 4 Dead mods in Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 Workshop is just full of custom maps. People love that. I love playing custom maps in Left 4 Dead 2. It's certainly fun. Back for Blood launches? No, we're not going to support mods. Oh, okay. Anacrusis immediately launches, and they've already put in mod support for people to create their own
Oh,
content with,
nice.
which I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool to see.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, me and a couple of friends, like we played the entire game over a free weekend, and we were like, yeah, we've played it. There's some replayability in the way that you can replay Left 4 Dead over and over again, just because the core gameplay is fun. But it just there wasn't enough maps. There wasn't. The game needs more polish, and then I think it would be insanely fun. This is a
Yeah.
game where I'm looking at it and I'm going, as soon as this hits 1.0, that's when I'm going to
Yeah.
check it out again. That's when I'm going to be like, okay, let's potentially buy this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it does look solid.
Um,
I really like the aesthetics. Like, I
yeah,
feel like that massive lava lamp warp pylon. That's great.
there it is. But the enemies are
It's a
very
warp
like,
core. Look at it.
you have like your special infectors. So you have the grabbers that grab people. You have there's basically these little alien balls that if you don't kill them quickly enough, they'll just run around and keep spawning more aliens, which is always a threat. You've got like your big like tank units. There is like they're special effective, but they're unique in their own way, sort of thing. Like I think
Yeah, it's
they're
not
well
just the
designed
exact
from what I've seen. Yeah.
copy.
There's the one annoyance which I think was toned back was there's a unit called the Flasher, and when he comes onto the not like the Flasher from FPS Fashion Police
I was
Squad.
gonna ask.
No, essentially he like blinds your screen until you kill him, sort of thing. And
Oh,
I think they had to
okay.
tone it down because it was like completely blinding people when he was on the screen,
Really
sort of thing.
obnoxious.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really bad. But he essentially feels like a similar role to the Boomer, where he basically obstructs your vision if you blow him up, sort of thing. But the Flasher like immediately obstructs your vision as soon as they come into the stage, sort of thing. Because
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the enemy zombie design in Back for Blood, but I think the design in Anacrusis was a lot better in my opinion. I think they were a lot more balanced,
Yeah.
and the thing I hate in the Back
Yeah.
for Blood zombies were they were all bullet sponges.
Oh, they're not in this one then. Okay.
No, they're not in the Anacrusis or Left 4
Nice.
Dead.
Nice.
The idea is you have this target with a very powerful ability that can just basically lock down your team, and then it's like, well, the other members who haven't been locked down, they need to quickly take out this target and then focus on getting that person up or interacting with them, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm really looking forward to this like being like fully released. I'm really like interested to see how far this goes.
Yeah, it's
I remember really
genuinely.
this aesthetic is so cool. Like some of the outfits remind me of like Star Trek outfits, like either
Mm.
TOS or even TNG. It's like
Yeah,
it's
well,
cool.
it is around that time zone, so
Yeah, yeah. And the colors just really pop. Like I feel like, oh my god, just makes me
there is
think.
more modern stuff. Like as you play through the level, you'll find these upgrade stations, sort of thing.
Okay.
That was one thing that really pissed me off about Back for Blood. Each individual weapon has its own unique ammo, so you're constantly like, well, my friend can't use this weapon because I'm using a weapon of that ammo type, so we'll be, stealing ammo from each other. This
Yeah.
game, you have, you pick up weapons and then they're energy weapons, so you just get to a recharge point and it recharges all the ammo for that any weapon you're using. So it's like Left 4 Dead, where there's just ammo piles, which I prefer the design of. It makes it a much more casual co-op experience rather than, no, it has to be a realistic zombie co-op shooter that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
But that's
I think in terms of gameplay, like that way of doing MMO is kind of necessary.
yeah. I don't know if we talked about because I went back and
That's what I mean.
after playing the that's like the tank. It's got like the brute, and I was
Yeah,
using
that's great.
the special weapon slot you get, which
That
is like
weapon is good as well.
a laser
Yeah,
gun,
yeah.
but that has like limited ammo that you can't recharge.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I've
There's
played
phases in this game.
phasers. The phasers set to
phases
kill.
to kill.
Yeah.
Set to disintegrate.
Immediately this this game also has DLSS, so it was
Nice.
running well for me out the box with the DLSS turned on.
How do you know how many people are working on this game?
I don't know how big Stray Bombay is, but I think it's a lot smaller than, say, Back 4 Blood, for example.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like quite impressive. For I know that there's not many maps and things, but it's still quite impressive. If my idea, like how big the team is correct, I thought it was quite an
11 to
impressive
50
showing.
employees, it says on my random Google search. Take that with a
Is that it? Really?
take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're a big team.
That's fair. But no, I'm impressed with the concept and
Stray Bombay
what I'm
Company is an
seeing.
entertainment software company located in Seattle with 24 employees. It says here. So
Maybe
how many they have
upgraded.
now, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, maybe they got more.
Yeah, Anacrusis. This is a game where if it's on a free weekend, play the hell out of it because it's genuinely really fun. But it is in like an early access state. But it launched in an early access state. It said, "Hey, this is an early access game. It's not fully complete
it
yet."
informed you. Yeah, that's cool.
So I think I'm just gonna. I played all of the levels they've worked on so far. I played the custom levels that other people have worked on because it's got mod support. And then I was like, well, I'll wait for the full game release. Pretty fun. It's a recommend.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
Nick,
fantastic. Oh god,
This
what
is
is
a
this?
game. This is a. What do you mean? What god is this? You've seen me play this with a friend Jesse.
Yeah,
This is
I know what it
Broforce.
is.
So I
Mm-hmm.
always joke that Free Lives is the most random fucking developer in the world. They made
What is
Broforce,
correct?
Genital Jousting, Gore, the VR game, and then they're now making the foot game. What's the foot game called? That's really, really good, by the way. It's
the
called
door, not door kickers.
no Angerfoot.
And yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that's fucking sick. So yeah, um, this is essentially. So I've played a game similar to this that came out, I believe, after this came out. But it's a similar concept. It's Door Kickers Action Squad.
didn't
Um,
Broforce come out ages ago? Didn't it?
it came out on Steam in 2015. It says.
Yeah,
Whereas the Door Kickers Action Squad I played came out in 2018. But the idea is
yeah.
you're summoning a bunch of bros which are legally distinct, but not too legally distinct
Yeah.
that you can tell that they're very clearly copyrighted characters.
That's not Mr. T.
That's not Mr. T. That's Mr. Bro. That's Broshetti that my friend's playing as there. You get to the end of every level is you kill the devil. You plant the American flag and then you jump off in a helicopter and it says area
I love
liberated.
how American this is. Yeah,
It's
I love
so
how American
funny to me.
this is.
I love all of Free Lives games. Like I've literally played every single Free Life game, and I think they're all fantastic.
Yeah, I think
And
that's great.
they're also all like so different in their own way as well. And like there's like it starts off pretty simple, but you saw us fighting like some of the end game bosses sort of thing. Like it gets pretty like intense towards the end. Like it's
I would say now the end game stuff is hilarious.
there's a button to flex for some reason, which I'm like, okay. Brodell Walker.
I just love
You get like these intro videos every time a new character comes up, which is really, really cool. Basically, the way it works is you have like one life, and then every time you rescue a character, it gives you an extra life. Or if your partner's already dead, it resurrects them as the new character, sort of thing. And it gives you a random character, so you're always playing a character you probably haven't played before, or at least you don't get to pick which character you're playing, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then every character has like a unique shooting mode, and then they have like their special weapons, which you see at the bottom. So, Brohard. So that is John McClane from
Bro.
Die Hard.
Brohard, the film, yeah.
Yeah, and his special ability is flashbangs, which like stuns a bunch of enemies, which is pretty useful, sort of thing. Area liberated. Some characters are like a lot better than others. Like there's some characters where, this character here is like the woman from Planet Terror, but she can only shoot out of her gun leg, so she can only shoot downwards, which is like sometimes. Is most of the time really annoying, but then in very specific situations is like really broken. Or there's like some characters that are better, like some characters have the ability to slow down time, which is like really, really busted. One of my favourite characters is, so you get checkpoints throughout the level, so if you die you can respawn there, which is useful. There's me dying to full damage.
You die quite a lot in this game from
Yes, because everything is set up to have like explosives everywhere.
And you get random random allies that.
There's suicide bombers everywhere as well. Like, I love this game. I absolutely love this game. My only complaint is that it has custom maps, but you can't play them online. You can only play them single player.
Sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks. Everything else is great though. So
yeah.
Maybe some of the levels were a bit different.
Macbrover! Oh, this guy just throws TNT. He's quite hard to use. And then his ultimate ability, he throws like a giant bomb.
There's some like minor issues at the end of the game, right? Where it's like desynced cutscenes and things.
I think it was like half the game.
The integration was getting worse.
I think it was half the game desyncing, and my friend hosting has really poor internet, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think doesn't help. So I'm not gonna say like.
I don't think it's entirely game's fault, but there are ways to mitigate.
There's William Brolis over there, who's like William Brolis over there, who says freedom, and it's freedom with the American flag because he's an American.
Yeah, of course.
And then he essentially goes into like a rampage. See, I'm trying to get that character, but I'm like, I can't because I'm trying to use my bombs, which are really hard to like aim and stuff.
Right. I know sometimes that you didn't want to like pick up a character because you really like the character you already had.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep playing as that character. So
Yeah. It's like you pick up the extra life. How can I use this one?
Well, I fully played it.
How many people can play this at once?
2. So it's 2-player.
Two. Just 2. Okay.
I believe it's only 2. I wish there was a thing on Steam. You know, like you have on the Steam features, it's like single player, online PvP, trading cards.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
said how many.
I wish there was a
play.
feature with just like how many co-op. Like it just said, oh, you can play 2-player co-op. Blade, my favorite character. I love Blade. Yeah, I'm a big. I think Blade's really cool. Despite never seeing a Blade film, I've never seen a Blade.
Not?
No, I've never like fully watched a Blade film.
Okay.
I love that you can just jump on the helicopter to the end and just completely abandon your partner if you want to.
That's what freedom looks like.
You know, this is what freedom looks like. Golf, Tony.
This one's about 105.
We're back to golf, are we?
Yeah, 1,000% recommend Broforce. This is PGA Tour 2K21, and you'll notice it's not PGA Tour Tiger Woods edition, as it always has been. If you look at my character, Tony, you'll notice that one of the best features about this game is that it has a custom character creator.
I believe this is in like the
This was the Ukraine
pack.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna redeem this. You convinced me to say but it's got a character creation. I'm like, well, you've convinced me.
This is my character.
I will download the game.
I believe my character's called Wayne Wonchong from China.
Oh.
No, because you choose a nationality, and it was a reference to. It was a reference to Wayne Wonchong from the development of. He was someone I saw in the credits of the Warhammer Space Marine, a game I have played and not yet talked about.
Right. Okay.
But it's essentially like it's not like a casual golf game or like golf with your friends.
This is serious.
Well, it's not too serious, I wouldn't say.
I get.
It's more
of an arcade. It's got all the mechanics in, and it's like, but it does tell you the stuff.
It's
right?
a lot more. It's a lot more serious than Golf Gang. It's a bit more serious. It's a bit more serious than Golf with your friends. But there are some more serious golf games in this. Like, I would even compare it to. It's more like Wii Golf, where you look at like contours and the wind and stuff like that, which doesn't really exist in the more like couch co-op arcadey golf game sort of thing.
So you're saying this isn't as good as Wii Golf?
Oh, you can see my China flag there, representing the country of China.
The CC.
I think I have like I think I have like snake or reptile eyes. The character the character customization in this game is kind of wild. You can do like crazy things.
Let you do anything. Is it kind of like an Elden Ring's customization?
Yeah.
Okay.
People have made like really crazy stuff.
This could be good.
Yeah, it's genuinely really fun.
Can I just say, I don't know why I care about this, but I actually really appreciate that the crowd, like they've put effort into like where the crowds are.
Yeah, and also the really cool thing is they have
really
like,
makes it for me.
I love the fake commentary they have, like just going the whole time you're playing. It's like, oh, you almost get that in. That's a beautiful shot.
That's the one thing.
Golf game.
It's the one thing that's missing from Wii Golf, and it'd be hilarious to see like tons of me's watching you.
Like, yes, hello people, I'll be here all week. But no, if you're a fan of golf games like me, and
you're a golf connoisseur,
you're a golf lover like me, this game is genuinely actually really good. Like I hadn't looked at this game at all. I'd seen a couple of clips of it on like the live stream Reddit of people playing it, and I was like, oh, it's because of their funny like characters and stuff. But I think people were also saying no, it was like genuinely really fun, and I didn't check it out until I got it in like the Ukraine bundle sort of thing.
It looks pretty decent as well, like the actual graphics.
You have the ability. I think it seems like you take your shots at the same time as your partner. I don't think there's a way you can set it up where you do it like one at a time, sort of thing. Which is how you usually play stuff like. It's the way you can play some of these golf games, although
Right.
it is a lot quicker when you just play it both at the same time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you can set up. It was a while ago since I played it, but another annoying thing is I don't think you can spectate your friend when you finish the hole, which I'm like, that's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? That you'd want to spectate your friend on the hole
Yeah,
instead of
why-
watching like a
okay.
random screen.
I would, yeah, like, yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Somebody said, I'm on the store page, a lot less rage playing on here versus real life. I recommend playing this if you suck at golf in real life. Okay.
Ouch.
Oh, absolutely scammed there. That should have gone in the hole. You can't have a golf game without a little bit of scamming.
Yeah.
And the putt drops.
But yeah. This is another game that I would highly recommend, especially if you picked it up in a bundle or it goes in a nice sale. I think it's on sale right now for like £12. Like, I would consider buying this for like around that much money. It is genuinely really fun, especially if you have a couple of friends to play with.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely check this one out if you're if this looks at all. If you're just a fan of creating fucked up character models and custom characters selection screens, you got to check this one out because there's some crazy shit you can do in the custom character screen. But yeah, this game is really fun, and that's the end of Tangerine multiplayer, and we'll see you next time.
Second shot on the
Bye. An hour and 16 minutes.